Hello, good evening, and welcome to the Prestige Reef Dork show. Where I am, I'm a bit. I was just in the middle of doing something, so I'm like, shit. Right, hello, everybody. Welcome along. My name is Alex. I am the Reef Dork, and with me, as always, is Ryan from the UK's #1 coral selling website, prestigereef.co.uk. Ryan, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Very good, thank you. Yeah, I'm all right. I've gathered my thoughts now, so we're good. We're all set to go.
I'm intrigued by what you're doing because we just had half an hour for you to do this.
I know, well, but the thing is, so I've got the video, the live stream loaded up because I need to be able to do polls and that sort of
so
stuff.
you can cheat. Yeah, I understand.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. No, so because I need to add polls, and I wait until because whilst the background music is playing, I'm waiting for that to catch up, and normally it catches up halfway through, but it didn't catch up till the last minute, so I had to mute it. Anyway, don't matter. No one wants to know. If you've just clicked on this video to see the top 10 dwarf angelfish, there will be timestamps in the description at some point in the next 24 hours. So after the stream goes live. But for everybody else, the point here today, and as Ryan adjusts his camera so he's got the nipples in.
I want to be in the middle of the screen.
The point of this today is so we've drawn up a list of our 5 favorite dwarf angelfish, and we are going to pitch them against each other. The chances are there'll be a significant amount of overlap, so I think we've both got backups.
Are they our 5 favorite, or are they 5 tactical choices to try and win this?
Here it goes.
Well, I guess we know I'm going first this time because I never get to go first.
You got to go first last time. That's not happening. They are you. It doesn't really matter if it's your favorite or not, because to be honest, if I had a list. No, actually, I was going to say no. My top 5 is my favorite. So yeah, just about. But I'd like to add a couple to that list in an ideal world.
Well, we might add a couple now. I might have some ideas for you.
All right. Well, in which case, before you start cheating,
I'm not going to cheat. I'll let you go first.
I'm going to kick off. So, my first one is the Peppermint angelfish.
I knew you were going to go for this, and I'm so glad that you did.
Why is that?
Genuinely am glad you did, because no one is paying $30,000 for a fish.
I'm not paying 30 grand for it. I'm not going to buy one. This isn't fish I'd like to purchase with my own money.
I'm just saying.
This is what is the coolest looking angelfish.
Even your mate Polo's Reef, who's had 3 of them, all 3. I think he had 3. I think that's great. I have saw it in a video sometime. All 3 of them are no longer with him.
The Holy Grail.
Well, they're not the Holy Grail if they die. So would you pay 30 grand for a fish?
Of course not. No.
And then have it die in your tank? I believe they're deep water.
They're very deep water. I think that, so 300 to 400 feet. In fact, there we go. So they go through. You got to bring them back up really, really gently. Otherwise, they get decompression sickness and presumably they pop or something. But whatever. It's just if that was obviously. To be honest, I wouldn't keep most of the angel. In fact, I don't think I'd keep any angelfish on this list because they munch corals, all of them. And so this isn't about which ones would I buy. Just look at that. I mean, the red and white stripes, the orange eye mask, they're just so cool.
Average, really, isn't it?
Average.
I feel like what you're trying to do is just put an expensive fish up to try and win this round. But I don't think that the viewers are going to be fooled by this. I think they're going to go, I see what you're doing.
And what I'm doing is choosing the coolest dwarf angelfish. And that is probably
not the coolest dwarf angelfish, not even remotely.
Outrageous. All right. Well, what have you got to go up against it?
Today, I am going to start this with a flame angel, because a flame angel is I'm not joking. This is genuinely the angelfish that most people want to have. So if you're voting with your actual, your brain, rather than just going, oh, look, that fish costs $30,000, then it's an easy choice that you would rather have a flame angel. We don't know if the peppermint angel eats coral, for example, whereas flame angels generally okay.
No, they're not. Shut up.
Flame angels generally are okay. Flame angels and coral beauties are generally good.
Yeah.
It's got like a little splash of blue on it. It's got those like tiger stripes. So what more could you want for a fish? Plus, does not cost 30 grand.
This is very true. I take issue with the does not eat corals.
I've had
plenty of people.
I've had flame angels in the tank without. I mean, look, to be fair, I did have 2, and both of them were fine temporarily.
Temporarily.
Well, I had 7 dwarf angels all in the same tank, and they were all good as gold until one of the coral beauties started eating coral. And then there was like a free-for-all for all of them.
Mm.
And they go, oh, look what that guy's doing. And yeah, and then they all start to eat. But I used to have a pair of flame angels that used to spawn every single night.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it was cool.
So that, and they are all, to be fair, they are pretty cool. I still wouldn't have one because they're, and it's not like, so you might have had a couple that were okay for a period, and I know other people who've had them and they've been okay, but there's a percentage thing, isn't it? It's not like either they are okay or they're not. They're a risk, and I think they're a relatively high risk.
I mean, your one basically looks like a sick flame angel.
No, it doesn't.
It looks like a very unwell flame angel.
If that was if they were the same price, you'd have the peppermint every time.
No, actually, no. Genuinely, if they were the same price, I would not have the peppermint.
Really,
that's actually true.
I think that's the way the poll looks like it's going. By the way,
is it? I wouldn't know.
70% flame angels. So,
oh, is it? Oh, that's good then.
Yeah. But just that for me, because there are some fish that are rare and they don't really do anything for me. But the peppermint angel, that is cool. I can see what I mean. Obviously, I would never spend 30 grand on on a fish, but I can see why. If you were absolutely wadded, I can see why you'd spend money on it.
I mean, I know what you're doing. You're just throwing out expensive fish just to see if people will just take the bait. But the reason I mentioned the peppermint angel to you before the live stream was to get into your head, because I knew that if you thought I was going to go first, you would say the peppermint first, and I knew that I had a good feeling the flame angel would beat it. So
there you go.
Playing tactically today.
Very good. But yeah, I think they're really cool. And obviously very difficult to keep. Like you said, so Polo's Reef had, I think he had 3 or 4, did he? And they all died.
I don't know. But I think I know. I think he said in one of the videos that he's not having them again. Although people change their mind, so I don't want to speak for him. And I do believe that he had at least 3 of them that died. So if he pays 30 grand for 3 of them, that's a lot of money to lose. Whereas if you lost 3 flame angels, a sad day, but not going to break the bank.
This is very true. But if you've got Polo Reef money, you're probably not too bothered about 30 grand fish dying. Don't get me wrong. It's very sad and all that sort of stuff. But 10 varieties on your driveway, take the edge off it.
But genuinely, though, they actually aren't for me. And I was never going to put the peppermint out there because I didn't think it could win. And I knew that logically your next choice would probably be a flame angel.
Flame angel was on my list indeed. And they are pretty cool. They're one of the coolest, to be fair. But yeah, no, they're very cool. Both of them. And it looks as though, in fact, I'm going to end the poll. It's getting a bit closer. 65-35. I am going to end the poll. 65-35 in favour of the flame angel. And that's probably one of the coolest common fish in the hobby, I would say.
Oh, common. Oh,
yeah, common. Well, it is. It's common as much.
Don't say as if it's like offensive.
No, it's paying a compliment.
It's flame angels used to be like £60. I don't even know what they are now. Someone in the chat will probably know. But I'm sure they like skyrocketed in price to over like £200 at one point. Yeah,
I think they're that kind of level. As I say, I don't pay any attention because I don't look for them. $109 on Live Aquarium, but I suspect they're at least $150 in the UK.
Is there a reason that they've gone up in price so steeply? I know a lot of things have gone up in price, but it's, like the yellow tangs went crazy. But flame angels you can get from other places. Do flame angels come from Hawaii? I'm not even sure.
I thought they did, but they must come from other places as well. Marshall Island, Central Pacific. Oh, maybe they come from Christmas Island. Okay, so I think those are quite remote places.
Yeah, they are. Christmas Island definitely is.
Christmas Island is very remote, but and I think Christmas Island is where the peppermint comes from.
Oh, is it? I didn't know that. I think you can. This might be wrong, but I think you can get black tanks from Christmas Island as well.
Okay.
But I don't know if it's actually remote or just difficult to get fish from there.
Yeah, maybe something changed over there because it's always been remote. Yeah. So why did the price change? So yeah, maybe it was, I don't know, something must have changed. But yeah, they are quite expensive now, to be fair. So let's catch up with that. So here we go, 275 quid, 180 to 200, and someone saw one yesterday for 275. Andy, where was that? 275. That sounds expensive. Let's out them.
Oh, dangerous. That's not very good. Well, let's see what comes back.
250. But no, to be fair, I mean, if 180 to 200, I guess everything, it varies, doesn't it, massively? Rent and all that sort of stuff's different up and down the country. But so anywhere between 180 and 275 is looking like the rough price, which is pretty steep.
I genuinely love flame angels. And there's a possibility one will go into the angelfish tank, but and they are actually pretty reef safe. Yeah, they are pretty reef safe.
Interesting. So does that? It's a maidenhead. Oh, interesting. So yeah, so one will go in. Would you have a few dwarf angels in that tank?
My mind changes on a day-to-day basis. Sometimes I'm like, because I've now pretty much officially decided I'm getting regal angel as well. So and possibly a majestic. So on a day-to-day basis, my mind seems to change. But what will happen is I'll probably get one, and then I've got one already. Obviously, I'll get another one, and then that one might be a pain, and then after that, I'll go no more.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, but this is good though, because when you started, I thought you were going to have loads of angels, and then you decided you're only going to have one, and now you're going back to 3 or 4.
I think I will have. Yeah. The problem is I'm not an impulse buyer, because obviously I know what I'm buying and I know what I'm getting myself into, but I'm more than willing to make a stupid decision. not with regards to the fish, but with regards to whether it's a good choice for me.
Right.
So I'm happy to put a flame angel in, knowing that there's a possibility that it will eat coral. Simple as that. But,
fair enough.
Yeah, I want it to be an interesting, exciting tank.
Okay.
I saw Susanna Jackson said I'm slacking. Susanna, I am definitely slacking with that tank, but I got to take things at my own pace, haven't I? Got, if the other people push, look, you can't push Picasso. I'm not saying I'm Picasso, but if someone pushed him, he might not make a good painting, would he? So I'm just doing it at my own pace.
You're not. What's the place? What's the ceiling? The famous ceiling in the church.
Sistine
Chapel. Yeah, you're not painting the Sistine Chapel, mate.
No, I know. Basically, I think I've said this in one of my videos before. It's like when you've got a load of other tanks to look after, an extra tank doesn't. Yeah. Is not, although it will be exciting, and once it's up, and let's put it this way, the person who is chasing me more than anyone is actually Alex, because you sent me messages going, have you got an update on the tank yet? So it is like so close now, because I think the maxi doses, which for the automated ward changes, are arriving next week. Okay. I've got a bottle of bacteria coming to put the fish in, and if it had arrived on Friday, the fish would be in already. But it didn't arrive. So
what else are you waiting for?
What else am I waiting for? No, that's it basically. I'm pretty sure that's it.
Have you got sand? You didn't have sand last time.
Oh yeah, I didn't have. Yeah, sand's the other thing that's coming. Should be soon. That's because I need a lot of it is coming from Germany. So
yeah. Okay. Because when you talk about like other tanks, obviously you've got a farm to look after.
Yeah, so I'm sure with you, like one of your tanks is less interesting than other tanks, and it might get more love than the other tank. So your main tank will get more love than the tank upstairs.
That's what I was about to say. So the two up here, the one behind me, gets the least love. Yeah, because every time I buy a nice coral, and
it's not going there.
Yes, well, it's either I buy it to go in there. And then I'm like, it looked good in the water box, so I put it in the water box. So yeah, and that gets less love, and like I don't test it as often. So and then I get like a bit of algae, and I'm like, oh god. So yeah, totally. And you've got 4,000 liters worth of tanks. So
yeah, so there'll be 5,000 pretty much with that one as well. So
on which you rely for a living. So
yeah. So I am excited. I am excited. The problem is I'm not a very patient person. So once I don't like the setting up stage. This stage is not particularly exciting for me. But once I've got the stage where I can start putting things in it, I'll be like, put loads of stuff in it, but not too quickly. Not too quickly. We don't want to give out bad advice.
Fair enough. Well, I'll look forward to you getting stuck in when you go flying. So, what is your second fish?
Okay, I'm going to go for a Potter's angelfish. So. Potter's angelfish are bloody awesome.
That's what you got to say.
Did you have that on your list?
Yes, I did. Yeah,
I'm waiting for the picture to come up. So when you say that, all you got to say, look, the picture will speak for itself. Although knowing you'll find a shit one. So
yeah, I'm on it. Don't worry.
You're like, here's a picture of a dead Potter's angelfish.
There we go.
Oh, I know. That's such a bad picture.
Bit orange and blue.
Find a good picture. Find a good picture of it, so it's a fair fight.
Is that live Aquarium? maybe not. Yeah, it is.
So-
Actually, that's not the best photo, to be fair.
To be fair, that isn't actually a very good photo. I would accept it, but it's not the best one of them. They are amazing. This is one of the few dwarf angels which I've never owned. Because back in the day, I had a Peppermint like kicking around. But yeah, this is one of the few dwarf angels I never owned, and they're not very easy to get hold of, I don't think, or if at all anymore. Because
aren't they Hawaiian?
Yeah, they are. Yeah, but I don't know if they're only from Hawaii.
Endemic, which I think means only, including the Johnson Atoll. Yeah, so I think they are. Because it's the same as a Potter's Wrasse. I'd love a Potter's Wrasse, which I think the Potter's Wrasse looks cooler than the Potter's Angel, to be fair.
Well, I'm not worried about your Wrasse choice. I'm more interested in your Angelfish choices. so what's going up against the Potter's Angelfish?
I am going to pull that down for a second, and I'm going to bring it up on screen.
Oh yeah, it's going to be the most edited picture of the most wonderful fish.
This fish
will clean your glass for you.
Yeah, they do. This is cook for you. I'm going to try to use Live Aquaria for as many of these as possible because they do the most similar pictures.
It keeps it fair, doesn't it?
Yeah.
While you're looking, Dave, I don't know how to pronounce your last name, but Dave has asked, has anyone had multiple dwarf angels in a reef tank? I had 7 dwarf angels in a reef tank. 2 flames, 2 coral beauties, a bicolor, Lemonpeel. I'm just giving you all these names of angelfish, and there's one more I'm not going to tell you because he might try and steal it for the next round.
There's a good chance it's on my list already.
Well, we'll see.
The fish I'm going for is the Multibar.
Oh yeah, because who doesn't want just a black and white fish?
Black and white. Look at that.
Black and white.
On your list.
Well, you're colorblind, aren't you? So that probably looks orange and red to you.
They're amazing. They're black and white stripes with like a yellow belly all the way across the bottom.
It's pretty much black and white.
Yeah, well, yours is orange and blue.
Yeah, orange and blue is amazing.
Like a coral beauty.
That looks nothing like a coral beauty.
A lot like a coral beauty, especially in that photo. But so the Multibar, they're awesome. I tried one, but it didn't. This back in the day when I used to quarantine, and mine didn't get out of quarantine.
Oh, really?
No, supposedly they're very finicky eaters. But this is my problem with quarantine. Is I had I lost so many fish to quarantine, much more than I did in my tank. So that's why I stopped doing it. But yeah, I lost him in quarantine. But they are, if you can get a good one, I think they do captive bred ones now. If you can get a good one, man, they're just so pretty. They're for me, they're up there with the flame angel.
I don't know if the Potter's Angel is on the list of fish which is going to be coming back from Hawaii. There has been remember Hawaii was opened again. I think there was a legal appeal, which is why it's not actually officially happened. But I don't know if they're on that list. So if they're not on that list, we obviously still can't get them. It's as simple as that.
Yeah, I can't remember. I don't think they were. I remember looking down that list and feeling a bit disappointed.
I wasn't, because I had a black tang on there, and that's the only fish I want.
You've had the opportunity to get a couple of them, haven't you?
What, black tang? No, there's one in the abyss. It's $3,000. That's a lot of money.
Not for.
Well, I was told it was $3,000. I don't know who told me, but I didn't ask.
Not for a wealthy YouTuber like yourself.
Oh, I wish.
Coral farmer.
I wish. So.
But yeah, so I can't remember. Potter's Angel feature. Oh no, Potter's Angel feature on the revised quota list.
Oh, so it is.
This is the 6th of February 2023 from Reef Builders. So it looks like your quid's in. So you might be able to get one.
If they came back, I would definitely get one. Definitely. Although they're probably like £500 now because they were expensive before. So. Well,
$130, but out of stock on Live Aquaria.
Probably been out of stock for 5 years.
200 quid for a also out of stock for a Multibar. It's quite expensive. I don't think they're that expensive in the UK.
I'm interested if anyone in the chat has a Potter's Angel or a Multibar.
Well, Dave has a Potter's and a Multibar.
Oh, there you go. Look at that.
Purple and a Regal.
So Dave, do you have coral in that? Because I know you asked about with other people with a reef tank. Do you have coral in with those fish? Because if you do, you're doing pretty well. Yeah,
and when you had a load of the dwarfs, one of them took a liking to corals, and the others were all like, "Oh, you can eat a coral. Cool. Didn't know that."
That's exactly what it was like.
Yeah.
It was such a actually, it was quite interesting because angelfish are really, really hard to catch. Like if you're considering getting an angelfish, it's like a dwarf angelfish, like seriously consider it, because that is a fish that is not easy to get out of the tank, because most of the time they spend it in and around the rockwork. They're not like free swimming, and they're very mistrusting. Like anything new, they're not interested in it. And it took me weeks to catch the coral beauty. But with I
see what you mean. Yeah.
With the flame angel, remember I had a pair. I swear on my life, this is true. What I did is I got I managed to catch the male flame angel, but the female would not go in. So I put the male in a little pot, not a big enough pot for it to swim around, and put it into the fish trap. And the female almost immediately went in. I wasn't sure if it still recognized it or if it wanted to kill it. But either way, that's how I caught the female. And that is genuinely a true story. I've done all sorts of weird stuff.
And then that's putting something of interest in a fish trap is the way to catch any fish. Like I had a file fish that started eating my acans, so I put the acan in the fish trap and he was straight in there.
And
I was like, "You're too stupid for me." Do you know what I've just realised? I forgot to do member questions.
I did wonder. See, it seemed odd that we seemed further ahead than usual.
I know, yeah.
Because normally we have like a chat for like 20 minutes, and I'm like, how have we done 2 and 20
I'm out of practice. We didn't do anything last week, and suddenly I'm like, oh God, how does this work? I can't.
Only one of us was lazy. The other one was sitting here waiting, like, when's he going to call me? When's he going to call me? And then nothing. So I was so
staring
sad.
out the window with the rain pouring down, like. Anyway, member questions. Push Button Reef said, "Can I dump kalkwasser into my ATO reservoir as a lazy way of raising my pH, which is usually around 7.6? Two things. Firstly, your pH is probably not 7.6. I suspect that's a false reading. You might have calibrated your whatever you're using to check. You might be using a dodgy eBay 20 quid pH checker, but it's probably not. Your corals are dissolving if it's 7.6. But no, don't. And actually, two things with that. First off, don't do that. But kalkwasser is not for raising pH. You should not use kalkwasser to raise pH. You should use kalkwasser to maintain your calcium and alkalinity. And the pH boost is a side benefit. So you shouldn't be trying to boost your pH with your kalkwasser. That's a side benefit. It should only be done to raise your alkalinity and calcium. Because otherwise, if you use it to raise pH, guess what? Your alkalinity and calcium are going to go through the roof as well. And you really don't want that. But don't, if you put kalkwasser in an ATO reservoir, you've got no control over how much it doses to your tank or at what time. Evaporation fluctuates day to day and certainly season to season. It's just a terrible idea, and it'll ruin your pump as well.
That's what I was going to say. Doesn't it ruin pumps?
Exactly. It'll sit the pump will just sit in the kalkwasser all day long. So just don't do it. It's a really bad idea.
Would it work if it wasn't sit? I understand the concept. Don't do it. But would it if it was sitting above? Because calc is saturated, isn't it? So the sludge is at the bottom, but if the pump was slightly above it, would it still ruin the pump? No. It's sludge specifically that ruins it.
It's not. No, the sludge. It's the saturated kalkwasser, the liquid.
So it's all of it that does it. Yeah.
Yeah. That would still screw up. Yeah. So it's just a bad idea. And the second question was from Gordy39. He says, "I'm looking into getting a few lyre-tail antheas for my Waterbox 180.5, but read mixed opinions regarding how difficult they are to keep, especially about feeding requirements. Do you have any experience or opinions on keeping them?" Ryan, have you ever kept them?
I've got them. They're in the coral farm.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they came from the 3,000 litre tank breakdown where the tank burst, and the guy said, "Can you take all my fish?" But you have to feed them a lot. Regularly, small amounts, often. So if you're going to have loads of them, don't get me wrong, there will be people that say, "I've got them and I feed them once a day, 1 pinch of pellets or whatever." But that isn't the norm. If you want to keep antheas alive, they need to be fed multiple times per day.
Yeah.
And it's up to you if you wanted to put on auto feeder, and a variety of food as well, I think, because it's definitely feeding, which is what causes them. They're not like a fish that gets sick really easily, like a powder blue tang. They're something that is that generally they're fine. It's just the food that they die of generally.
They so I had flagfin resplendent anthers.
Oh yeah.
And at first I was feeding them on auto feeder regularly,
Yeah.
and I backed that off because I was like, I'm feeding too much. My nutrients are getting a bit high. And then after I started backing off, it wasn't instant, but they started dying off one by one.
Yeah,
it might not have been that, but it probably was.
They're slightly harder to keep, resplendents, than lighttail ones. Lighttails are known as the easiest anthers to keep.
Supposedly resplendents are up there as one of the easy ones. Yeah, that's what I've read from like reputable sources.
Yeah,
and they mine were fine for quite a long time, to be fair, at least a year, maybe 18 months. But then they just over the course of 6 months they dropped off. But I bet if I was feeding 10 times a day, they'd be all right. But mine lost their colours as well. But so anyway, lyre-tail anthers, I've never kept them, but I don't know. From what I understand as well, they bully each other the same as chromis do. What are yours relatively okay?
They do change gender. So sometimes when they're bullying, it's usually because one of the females is turning into a male or something. Because sometimes that does happen. You can have 6 females and then or 6 females and 1 male, and all of a sudden one of the females, even though there is a male there already, will turn into a male, and that's when you get a problem and they start fighting. Someone said, "What do I feed them?" So everything in the coral farm gets a mixture of pellets, flake, mysis. And this is like a public service announcement: stop buying brine shrimp. If you have a choice to buy mysis, buy mysis, because brine shrimp's like cardboard. I had someone at the coral farm the other day, and they said they were. I will because I know what you're about to say. My brine shrimp is easier to get fish feeding sometimes.
That's not what I was going to say.
Oh, okay. But someone that came to the coral farm the other day, and they said, "Oh, what I'm doing, I'm trying to provide a variety of food, so I'm feeding brine shrimp and mysis." But the reality is, you're better off just feeding mysis because the nutrition value of brine shrimp is so low. So
I was going to ask, the question I was going to ask is, do people still feed brine shrimp?
Yeah,
all
they
the
do.
time. Okay.
Yeah,
I've fed it before when I've had fish with tiny mouths.
Yeah.
But it's like I'll start feeding it and I'll get through one blister pack and then I'll go back to mysis because it's better.
Don't get me wrong. When I'm trying to get a copperband feeding or something, I'll put a cube of brine shrimp in, and generally that's the first thing that fish will eat. And I think a lot of the shops and the wholesalers feed that because the fish don't need to live a long time at these places. So it's just about getting them feeding first. Whereas with mysis is actually a lot. Usually, to be fair, usually they will feed a mix of all different things. But you'll notice with some finicky fish, if they've got a choice of mysis and brine shrimp, they'll eat the brine shrimp in the shop, but not the mysis.
Okay.
So I think it's just easier. It's like you're going to pick a packet of crisps, aren't you? Probably over, I don't know, a salad.
Yeah, well, yeah, for sure.
I mean, look at you. We all know that's true.
Exactly. Yeah, don't eat many salads. Tell you that much. But yeah, okay, fair enough. No, I mean, feeding a mixture is great. A variety is great, but yeah, not sure about brine shrimp. But the trouble with feeding, you're okay because you've got 1 billion gallons of water. Most people have got a few hundred liters of water, so feeding a variety can be quite limiting because it's a bit more difficult, isn't it?
Yeah, no, I do agree with what you say, actually. And I actually feed probably less than people would think I would feed for the amount. But weirdly, my nitrate is always really, really low, and the phosphate is more difficult to control. I think that's because of the pellets. I think that pellets, I'm with the angelfish tank, I'm not going to feed, I'm going to feed only frozen food. Because I never, ever had an issue with high phosphates previously on my 1,000 liter tank, I think. And that's because I only fed frozen food. I never fed pellets. Whereas pellets are very nutrient dense. And I think that is what causes
because it's easy to overfeed.
Yes. Yeah, I think that's what it is. So I'm going to try that. I'm doing a few different experiments, as you know, with that tank. That's why I'm using dry live rock rather than man-made rock, because everyone uses man-made rock these days. So I'll be interested to see what the difference is.
Okay. The problem I find with trying to feed a variety of foods, because I only feed frozen as well, and whenever I feed anything different, I've tried so many different varieties of brands of fish, fish food, different types, all this sort of stuff. It's really different. They eat mysis easily, but other stuff especially if it's small, it just gets scattered everywhere and ends up in your sump and decaying. But I find they don't eat other foods, and maybe I need to try for a longer period to get them onto it.
Yeah.
But I try for weeks on end. It doesn't get anywhere, so I give up and I go back to mysis.
Yeah, well, there's nothing wrong with mysis, but it's like that in the coral farm. Fish actually do learn from each other. That is 100% true. As I said with the angelfish, which ate the coral, and then they all started eating it. But in the coral farm at the moment, the king eye angelfish did not eat pellets for probably 3 weeks. Would not touch them, and all of a sudden, about 2 days ago, I was watching. I was like, oh, it's eating pellets. So it's almost like it's learned what it is. Maybe it wasn't eating pellets because it was eating coral. So,
plenty of people you can put, like, so if it's eating mastic, you can put pellets in the mastic, and then that gets there are clever ways of getting a fish to do things that do work. But he's learned off someone else maybe. I've got a question that I know what you're going to say, Ryan. Big Dave says, I heard that garlic in fish food is good for fish metabolism. Is this true? Is garlic in fish food good for your fish, Ryan?
Garlic in fish food is not good for your fish.
Do you find garlic naturally in the ocean?
Garlic does not. You do not find garlic naturally in the ocean. Well, not that I know of, but I'm pretty sure you don't. No, but yeah. So garlic is fed to fish as a food, as like an appetite stimulant.
Yeah.
Yes. So it will help a fish that isn't eating eat, but it's actually harmful to feed it to a fish. Apparently, remember, I'm only repeating a study that I didn't do this study myself. I believe
bad for their kidneys or something, or
I think it's either their kidneys or their liver.
Right.
If I'm not sure which. You could. It was a long time ago I read it, but I just thought that's really interesting because like a lot of people go on their advertising. We've added garlic, and people are buying it because they're like, oh, garlic, yeah, brilliant. But the reality is that you're actually not doing what you're not giving the fish what it needs.
No, well, we've had this conversation before, and there are times. So there are times in the shop where you'll see mysis shrimp, and then you'll see mysis shrimp with garlic. It's the same price, and you're like, I'm not an idiot. I'm getting them with garlic because I'm getting more. But actually, probably better not to. Go on.
Oh, sorry.
Go on.
No, I was just saying there is definitely a study. As I said, it wasn't done by me. That is out there that shows some sort of negative impact of garlic. So on the fish, I don't know. I've never done a poll with fish. I've never asked them if they prefer garlic with their food. I believe it makes them taste more like garlic.
They'd probably say yes, I'm guessing.
Seasons them from the inside.
We have a proper YouTuber in the house, Ryan. Danny's Aquarium. Hello, Danny. How are you? Hiya Duck, which I think might be Afrikaans rather than Dutch, but I think that means good day. I don't know.
I'm assuming you know Danny's Aquarium then.
I don't know him, but I know he's Dutch.
Okay.
I know of him.
You know me. I don't watch any any YouTube. I spend all day, as I said, with corals and fish. So I don't go home and watch. Well, when I say go home, I mean walk from one room to the next.
Yeah. See, I spend all day thinking about fish and looking at fish, but I still watch YouTube videos all day long as well.
Yeah, but you don't, because you have a job that doesn't involve fish, so you get a break, whereas I don't.
This is very true. All right, so I've ended the poll, by the way, and you won, you bastard.
You left that one up a long time to try. I can't remember what fish we picked.
It was the Multibar and the Potters, and I was close-ish. Herdendag means good day. So anyway, all right. So next up, Potter. I've got to cross Potters.
It's your
off
turn.
the list. Yeah, I know. And I got to try to cross Multibar off the list as well. All right. This is a fish that Ryan thinks doesn't exist.
Oh, I knew you were going to go for this one. I knew that if the chips were down, you were going to go for this.
This is on my list regardless of where the chips are.
Oh no! See, we had a discussion about this because
I don't understand.
before. Oh, one sec.
Oh, I tell you what. Well, whilst you're cuffing your guts up.
So did I mute that or not?
There we go. You did mute it, but here we go. So it's the Tigerpyge angelfish. Let me get a better photo because
That
this is
fish does not exist.
look, it's right there. It's in front of
Isn't
your
that
eyes.
your video? Oh no, that's Reef Builder's video.
No, Reef Builders, look.
Right. The reason this no, I'll let you go first. I'll let you go first, and then I'll tell everyone why it doesn't exist.
What I mean, it's right there, so I'm not sure how you're going to do that. But so this is a naturally occurring hybrid. So this is a cross between. This is when a mummy Abley angelfish and a daddy Lemonpeel angelfish love each other very much.
They get freaky,
and then they put on Barry White under the ocean, and out pops a little Tigerpyge. So these are naturally occurring. This isn't just some random freak of nature like Casper. Don't know if you were going to comment on that or whatever.
See, you already know my argument. When you say naturally occurring, how many of them are there?
I've not counted, Ryan. So I don't know.
Okay.
I can't tell you.
So when you say they're not a freak of nature, what you actually mean is they are a freak of nature.
Look at it. So Abley and Lemonpeel are two of my favourites anyway. Putting them together, you get the brightest.
It's interesting you say that because you've not mentioned either of those angelfish in this process so far.
They're both on my list.
Wow.
So they're absolutely fantastic and they're so bright. And the Tigerpyge
How much is it?
Well, that one was £1,200. Yeah.
Oh, £1,200. So you're once again you're just going for the rich. It's like I would
went
never
for the Potter's Rat, which you cannot get.
Never,
so don't
go
throw
for
that at me. Yeah, Potter's Rat is literally impossible to get. All right, what have you got to go up against the?
Anyway, look. The first thing I'd like to say is that fish does not exist.
That is not exist.
I'm sorry, that is not a species of fish. That's not like. It's not even a subspecies of fish. That is a freak of nature, which just happens to exist. And there's very few. That name's just been made up.
Yeah. Well, so all names are made up.
So I'm not sure that you can really put that one forward, which is why we had this discussion about 4 days ago. And it's essentially the same as putting Casper up in the tang. When we did the tangs, if I went, oh yeah, this is the fish I want, Casper, the white yellow tang. Then it's I'm not really sure. It's a freak of nature.
It's different because that's a one-off fish. That's just an aberrant and abhorrent. It's like an albino. It's just it's a genetic deformity. This is like a mixed race fish.
Well,
basically.
Okay. So, well, not sure it counts anyway. But I'll let you. I'm going to go for the. I'm going to go for a Japanese angelfish. Japanese.
Oh, the joculator.
No, that's like a bicolor with eyeliner on. A jocular. The Japanese one. Nope. It's literally. I think it's called Japanese pygmy angelfish, isn't it?
Japanese pygmy angel. Oh, there we go.
Beanhead's Reef's got one.
Yeah, I thought that was. No. I know the one you mean. All right, Japanese dwarf angelfish.
Oh, it's beautiful. Oh, I've just seen a picture of it. Beautiful.
Interruptus, that's the one. Oh, I can't believe what you're just saying. How much are these?
Well, look, this wasn't necessarily the fish I was going to go for when I said that.
How much is that? Where's the price?
That is a beautiful fish. And whatever that fish costs, is it, I'd pay double.
It's £3,000. £3,000, yeah.
Wow.
What's the other name that these are called?
Yeah, but it looks twice as good as your shit one. So
no, it doesn't.
And your one doesn't even exist.
It's right there.
Look at that. That is a beautiful fish.
It's not there, is it really?
It is.
Hang on a second. Let me just get these up next to each other. There we go. I mean, it's a no contest. Japanese.
Is it a no contest?
Well, we'll see. So I don't get. We talked about this guy before and talked about because Malev's got one.
Yeah.
And I just don't get it because they are expensive. That's $3,000. They're probably a little more expensive than the Tigerpyge. But either way, they're both expensive fish. I would pay £1,200 for that angel if I could train it not to eat corals.
Well, I wouldn't pay £6,000 million for the Japanese angelfish.
I just think they're a bit boring.
What? It's beautiful.
Just a bit orange and blue.
No, it's beautiful. Look, as I said, your one looks like a slightly off-coloured Ebly angelfish.
Well, it was a brighter Ebly angelfish. Yeah. Ebleys are cool. They're amazing.
So, well, actually, Look, basically, a vote against me is also a vote against Milev. So you're actually so it's as simple as that. And Milev's awesome. So
he is awesome,
he's
undeniably.
got great taste in fish, hasn't he?
Well, apparently not. That looks the same as a red striped. Yeah, do you know why?
Yeah, your one looks the same as a red stripe.
I know, because it's half a red stripe.
Is it actually half Lemonpeel?
It's half Lemonpeel. I think that's right. It's half Lemonpeel, half Abley.
Where's the black like tail?
I don't know. Argus.
Neither of them have a black tail. I don't think an Ebley angelfish has a black tail. I don't know.
But that is if I could have any fish and I could guarantee it wouldn't eat corals, it would be a Tigerpyge.
Is that are you serious? Oh no, Ebleys do have black tails.
Serious.
Yeah, they do.
100% serious. I would have one of those. There are other there are other hybrid dwarf angels. There's one that's called what's it called? It's like a Woodstock or something like that. It's yellow and I can't remember what it's called now. Really do my head in. Hybrid Lemonpeel. Maybe this is it. No, that's not it. Can't find it. But there are others, but that's just the coolest by a mile. They're just so stunning. I love it.
There was some cool. After we've done our list, there was some cool angelfish. If you type in rare dwarf angelfish, marine angelfish, there was some like aberrant ones. There was like a really, really bright colored coral beauty, which was like flame colored. I think it was a coral beauty. And there's also some flame angels which had missing black bars. But we can do those later. Because apparently we can just pick obscure fish where there's just one of a kind.
It's not one of a kind. You see the thing with, and the other thing with that, the naturally occurring hybrid that is the Tigerpyge. You see them in shops, not all the time, granted, but often enough. Like I've seen a few of them. Yeah. I've never seen a Japanese.
Well, you're obviously not looking in the right places. So,
well,
to be fair, me either.
Exactly. But yeah, they're just cool. Let's have a look. Hang on, Alex, you're getting hybrid. You're getting 2 for the price of 1. Exactly.
Yeah, but there's 2 fish you don't really want that much. So I don't like a Lemonpeel or an Ebley really.
Has anyone said Peppermint Angel already? Yeah, I lost with Peppermint Angel.
Don't mention it. Don't mention it.
So, all right, let's see where the poll's going. 50-50 more or less. Bloody hell. Is
it 50-50?
53-47.
To who?
To you, unbelievably.
No, not unbelievably. It's unbelievably. It's not a bigger difference.
Interruptus, I don't get it. It's just boring.
I would 100% would have one of those.
Really? Would you get one? I don't suppose you can you?
I wouldn't get one. I want an Interruptus. No,
for your tank.
They're crazy. No. Look, depends. If there's one for like 100 quid, I'd take it. But there's not going to be one for 100 quid. So,
James says, Alex, have you won any of these? What's this, James? What's that? Yeah. What's that?
No, I think he was asking about have you won any of the Dwarf Angels yet?
I've just broken that trophy as well.
Don't worry, James. Don't worry. I'm keeping track. I'll let you know at the end.
I'm 2-0 down at the moment.
Just to clarify, you are a lawyer, aren't you? You're trained as a lawyer, so you're good. You're like trained in debating, aren't you?
Non-practicing solicitor, and I was a solicitor, not a barrister. So
I don't know what that is.
Back of house.
Oh, so you didn't do the debating bit?
No.
Oh, okay. Probably for the best. So...
I do still like to argue as a lawyer, though. To be fair, that was one of the reasons I got out of it. Just lawyers argue about everything, and it's so boring. It's like
I think it'd be fun, although it probably would be pedantic. There's probably these little tiny things.
It's stupid things that don't matter as well. Don't make a difference. It's like all day you're arguing for weeks on end about this stupid thing that doesn't matter. Yeah, and just like, oh, look at the clause. Let's reinterpret and how. Oh God, I hated it.
Yeah. Well,
but anyway,
I guess we're moving on, are we?
Well, I'm just going to leave that poll running until I get above 50% because I kind of need to.
Wasn't the other one left up for like 15 minutes?
That wasn't even close. We just went on member questions. That was never going to be close. To be fair, this one I am cheating on. So are you logging in on your phone to vote?
No, I'm actually. Oh no, I can't show you my list. I'm crossing off my list to the ones that we've done. So. Okay.
You're crossing off your list.
I'm crossing on my list. So I want to make sure I don't. It just makes it easier. So when we get to it,
It does indeed.
It's my choice, isn't it?
Well, we've not finished with this one yet.
No, isn't? We're still going, are we?
No, I'm gonna end it because it's not looking like it's going to change.
It's actually getting worse.
It's 55%, so 1% difference. But I genuinely can't believe that. The Japanese. I can understand why people would like it. 55% Japanese, 44% Tigerpyge, but I can't understand. It's just a bit boring. And it's like there's like a flameback angelfish. Looks like that.
I like a flameback angelfish. Yeah, that's a cool angelfish.
It was all right.
Is it?
Average.
Is it?
Yeah.
Well, that's 3-0, isn't it? So I've won now, haven't I?
It's 3-0. Yeah, you have, unfortunately. That's annoying.
Well, who gets to go first? Is it me or you?
You're next. Funnily, yeah, you're next. Go on.
I think you should go first for this one.
No.
I'd like you to go first. And the reason I'd like you to go
I've
first.
just gone first.
Yeah. Okay. Well, the reason I'd like you to go first is because I was going to put whatever you put up against a fireball because you just said it was shit. I'm going. This wasn't what I was going to put forward, but I'm going to go for a fireball angelfish.
Is that the same as a flameback? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, fine. All right. Let's see where that goes.
This is a stunning fish.
Do you actually like these?
Now that I'm 3-0, I've thought, well, let's make this more interesting. I'll just throw anything out there. That wasn't my next one, to be fair, because I've actually got two like quite good ones.
Okay, well, I'm going to put it up against another of my favourites. Guess what? So yeah, a Lemonpeel.
Lemonpeels are rubbish.
That's just not and I'm not expecting this to win, by the way. I think this will probably lose, but for me, the Lemonpeel Angel, they're not very reef safe from what I understand. They're like if a flame angel is 50-50, a Lemonpeel is like 90% guaranteed to eat your corals.
Yeah.
But of all the bright yellow fish in the hobby, they are the brightest.
Isn't it just like the same as a yellow tang?
No, they're brighter. They're almost fluorescent bright, and they got that blue around their eyes. They're just, and like dwarf angels look cute, don't they? They got a little funny little face.
Yeah.
And for me, and I think will lose, even though your fish is boring.
I'm genuinely surprised that you went for this, because of all the dwarf angels you could have gone for, this, other than an Ebly, would be the most boring one you can get. As far, no, don't get me wrong, because you get rusty angels, they're pretty like not that nice.
There are loads more boring, but basically, so the point of this stream really, and obviously I'm disappointed that I've lost, but the point is to pit the most popular ones against each other to see who likes what. And the Lemonpeel is there, you see them all the time. So
that's because people keep buying them and then returning them to the shop because they're so boring.
Because eat your corals. The flameback's so dull. Look at it.
The flamebacks are actually relatively reef safe, I think, as well. I think they're one
aggressive.
of the more. They're not aggressive. They're actually one of the dwarf angels. They're like a really small.
So when I say they're aggressive, I've got a feeling. Because I went through a period when I had a 3-foot tank. I went looking for a dwarf angel, and I feel like is it African flameback? Is that what they're called?
I'm not sure. I just know
I think that is. I've got a feeling they are notoriously quite aggressive, given they've got like Napoleon syndrome.
Because they're smaller. They're smaller than other dwarf angels. They're similar to like a cherub angel, where they're like the smaller versions.
Yeah, exactly. But I think and that's kind of why I like them. But I think they are quite aggressive. It's been like 6 years since I've researched it. And by the way, I broke my trophy.
Is that how angry you were?
It fell apart.
Are you winning this one?
It's going in the bin. Am I winning this one? 60-40.
Oh, look, it's a pity vote. It's a pity vote. I'll let you end if you want, but that's definitely a pity vote.
I'm going to keep going for a little bit. But let's see what people are saying. Now that is a colourful fish. I think that might have been about one before. To be fair, that's an old comment.
James is probably talking about the flameback.
I think he was talking about the Japanese or the other one.
Show me another fish which is that colour orange.
One second. James works with a husband and wife solicitor pair. It's a miracle they even agreed to get married. Yeah, God, I can't think of anything worse than being married to a lawyer. Just,
I don't know. So I can't think of anything worse than being married.
No, I'm married is fine. Married to a lawyer is a problem. Although my missus is going to be married to an ex-wife soon. So
that's true. That's true.
There's an African and a Brazilian, apparently.
Oh, there you go. See, we learn stuff on these live streams as well.
Bruce King, who works at my LFS, says sold loads over the years and defo one of the more nasty angels. Nothing compared to a cherub. Oh, cherubs are aggressive.
What, the cherub's meaner or not as mean?
I think he's saying the cherub is meaner.
Yeah, but is that generally you'd get a cherub for a small tank generally. So I wonder if that's what's made like they're with small fish.
This was so that's the cherub.
With a load of tangs, you'd be fine.
I've got a feeling that, so I'm sure I've looked both of them up before and they were notoriously aggressive, but again it was years ago. But all right, I am going to win the poll because that's going nowhere. It's going to finish 60-40 at last. Come on, should have led with that. Oh, hang on a second, it's changed. I lost.
Did you?
It was 60-40 and now it's 59. Oh no. I thought it was 49. Sorry, no, it was 59-40. I won. Thank God for that. I thought there was like a 10% swing in the last second.
that would have been good.
Yeah.
I said I think that was a pity vote. I think I sent a message to all my friends that are watching. There's about 30 of my friends watching at the moment, and they're all voting for me. So I just said, yeah, vote for Alex on this one.
Yeah, that's how you're winning.
Firstly, I don't have 30 friends.
I know.
You're basically.
I'd have believed you. I'd have believed you if you'd have gone for a lower number. But all right. So if Alex, okay, fine. What is your next fish that you would like to put up then?
No, you've got to go first this time.
I got to go first. Didn't I go first last time? Okay.
No, because I went for the fireball.
You're quite right. Okay, so I'm going to look down my list. That's okay. I'm going to go with the one that I like the most, or am I going to try to win?
You can't win.
No, but I can't lose worse.
That's true.
That's the thing. All right, I'm going to go with one that I think is more likely to win than my other choice, and that is the Venusta.
I'm surprised.
Purple masked angelfish.
I was going to go for that. I was one of the ones that was on my reserved list.
It was on my reserve list as well, along with the what's the Fiji one, the bicolor angel, because that to me is like a fancy version of a bicolor, because he's got a cool like pointy forward head bit.
that definitely eats coral, just to clarify.
I'm sure it does.
Yeah. I like to throw the dirt early. You know what's really interesting? Neither of us, I'm shocked, have gone for Coral Beauty. One of the things I thought you'd gone for that.
One of the things I was going to do with this list was have the 10 best and then 5 worst or whatever.
Yeah.
But for me, the Coral Beauty is, and this possibly is a controversial opinion.
It will be.
Apologies if I upset.
It's one of the most popular angelfish. If whatever you're about to say, and make sure it's nice.
Well, it's not going to happen. It's one of the most boring fish in the hobby. I just don't get them. I was obsessed for a few years with the idea of having a dwarf angel, and I concluded that Coral Beauties are probably about the safest bet with coral. Whether or not that's true, I don't know. But generally they're one of the safer bets. But I just couldn't bring myself to do it because they're just boring.
What did you go for?
Bland. I didn't go for anything.
What fish did you go for?
Oh, I don't know. Instead, I don't know. I didn't ever go for an angel
for this round.
Oh, the Venustas.
I've forgotten. Oh yeah. Okay, fine. I'll stick with Coral Beauty. That wasn't actually what I was planning to go for, but I'll stick with Coral Beauty. There's a fish. I was going to put up a different fish against it, but I think that if you show an adult version, they're not that nice. If you show a juvenile version, they're like one of the nicest fish you can get in the hobby. But we'll do that in a minute.
Okay, we'll come on to that in a sec. But this is just... I know it's popular. It's
That's just a nice fish.
I want to like it. I really do. Reef safe, shut up.
It's got tiger stripes. That's basically a really, really small king eye.
Do you actually like these?
I actually do. Yeah, I prefer, if I was going to have that or a flame angel, I'd have a flame angel.
Sure.
But yeah, I like the fact that they're reef safe. I like the fact that they didn't used to be expensive, but even that price there looks like bloody expensive.
130. I had a feeling they were cheaper.
They used to be like £25.
Yeah.
I'm showing my age now. I'm like a granddad, aren't I?
Venustus. All right, so I'm going to post that poll. So yeah, but I really want to like them. I really do. I just think they're a bit drab. And when you see them in the flesh, that's a decent photo. When you see them in the flesh, they always look boring. And I've done that so many times where I've been like, you know what, I'm going to go and see what they look like in a shop. Maybe they're not so bad. And I see them and I'm like,
you do get very different color variations of them. Sometimes you get them where they're really, really blue and there's hardly any orange, which are obviously they're not as nice. Where sometimes you get some really orange ones, and those are the ones that I would have one of those.
Bit cooler.
There's probably to do with a color, like a location variation. But there's loads of angel. We can go for there's loads of angelfish which we haven't even discussed.
Well, so I think this is the last round, isn't it? So there's millions of them, and it looks like the Coral Beauty is going to win the popular fish. And let's see if I've offended anyone. Reese Evans has a Coral Beauty, and when I first bought it, it was very brown looking, and now it's a stunning purple and fire red. I gasped in shock as Alex said it was boring. Sorry, mate. But it's funny because the pyramid butterfly fish, I think they're really boring as well. I bought 3 of them years ago because I thought they were cool, and then when I had them, I was like, they're just a bit drab.
Well, we'll show you some drab fish in a minute. Like a rusty angelfish is a drab fish. That's like a really rubbish version of a Coral Beauty, I think, isn't it?
Well, let's go through the other fish on. Hang on, let's have a look. 70. I'm going to leave that poll to run for a second. No reason, just
no reason. Just see if you can
getting closer.
Yeah,
we've only had 70 votes, and I think that didn't we normally say the rule is 100 votes? I think we do.
No, well, 100 votes, or if as soon as you're winning.
Yeah, exactly. There you got it. My Coral Beauty was 35 quid, says John Wright, and that's 45 quid Les paid. I think that's kind of the price I would expect them to be, but I think you're right. I think they're a bit more expensive now in the UK anyway.
Someone's mentioned a tiger tail Coral Beauty. I remember that, but I don't know why. I'm going to see if I can find it. I'll tell you if it's worth looking. Tiger tail Coral Beauty. Okay, not great, but I'm sure there's some really cool angelfish. I'm going to see if I can find it for you.
There, so this I'll put the tiger tail up on screen. That, no, that's got the potential. That's almost awesome, but the red is a bit too brown.
Yeah.
And it just looks like a bit of a washed out Coral Beauty.
I wanted to show a resplendent angelfish as well. This was never going to win, but it's one that hardly anyone would have a lot of people would never even heard of this angelfish. It's not that fancy, but if you look at its face, the shape of its face compared to all the other dwarf angels, it's really weird. I think they only come from one island.
Okay. 2 seconds. Just seeing if I've offended anyone else on the Coral Beauty. No one else who's prepared to speak up because everyone else is too shocked. But what do I know? I've lost 4-1.
Anything to keep the poll going a bit longer.
Oh, I forgot about the poll. I'm going to end it because it's 54-46 in your favour. So you've won 4-1, which is staggering.
Not really. A staggering thing about these live streams is that you won the best fish selection.
Yeah, I know. Abley, what do you think of so the other fish that were on the only other one on my list was the Abley, and I didn't go with that because I'd already gone for the Tigerpyge. You don't like them?
No, even the adults are a bit boring. I don't know. I just don't like them. So
I think they're pretty cool. They're not as bright, obviously, as the what's it called, the Tigerpyge.
I heard they're pretty freaky with their selection of partners as well.
Hey,
some of them will go find a nice Lemonpeel, and the offspring of those two, beautiful. Both one of the best fish I've ever seen.
They're a tiny bit it's like someone's turned the brightness down on an editing app, so they're a tiny bit not drab. That's too
gray.
No, just a bit dark. But I still think they're really cool, and you can get a mimic tang that looks like that, can't you?
You can get a mimic tang that looks like that. You also get a mimic tang that looks like a Lemonpeel angel, and you get a mimic tang that looks like a half black angel.
So I think of all of those, the Lemonpeel angel tang doesn't really look that bright to me. The mimic tang that's the Abley angelfish, I think looks the best of all the mimic tangs.
Yeah. But I mean, why would you buy one? Because why would you buy a fish that looks like another fish that you wouldn't want to buy? So
because it don't eat corals.
I think that's true. Yeah.
But yeah, I just think that's so cool. It's just, but then I was about to say it's the same with there's a mimic filefish, isn't there? That does it's the same as a Toby puffer. Do you know them?
Toby, yes, I do. Yeah.
Yeah.
Bubbly Reef's got it out for me. She hates me. She's always against me. Always says I'm moaning.
Staggering that staggering thing is that Ryan wins all of them, even with the long poles and shite photos. That's in your favour.
Yeah, but what I'm not sure what's the long pole?
Because I leave the poles to run for ages.
Oh, I see.
And I post bad photos, and yet you still win.
I thought Bubbly Reef's out to get me.
She's on your side.
Well, I don't know, because earlier I saw she was moaning about me because I moan about the choice of pictures. So
yeah,
that's because I like it to be fair. Still complaining. She's just written.
See, complaining. See, complaining. Anyway, Reef Keeper's Archive. Need your opinion. Will chalice corals kill zoas and soft corals if you put them next to each other? Yeah.
I don't actually know that. I don't know for sure. Is the honest answer to that? I actually don't.
Chalice corals are all different. Chalice corals. I think there was a what's the title? There was a Tidal Gardens video when they said, and I think it was chalices. Chalices actually aren't chalices. They're all different, and we just call them chalice because they look the same. So they're actually all different species.
They don't even look the same.
No, they're just plating LBS.
Yeah, think about a jelly bean chalice compared to a Hollywood Stunner. Hollywood Stunner will plate like this huge, thin
bowling.
Disc. Yeah. Whereas the jelly beans or even loads of the other ones, they're nothing like that. Yeah. No,
but but the reason I'm saying that is because I think some chalices are really nasty. I've got a WWC Stellaria chalice. It's a really nice coral, but if it touches anything else, like if you put your hand in and touch it, it'll kill you. I put it next to a staghorn acro for like half a second and it stripped it straight away.
Really?
But others I find aren't that bad. Even so, the Raja Rampage has got a bit of a reputation for having sweeper tentacles that sting. But mine is right next to a Cyphastria, and Cyphastria are just a bit wimpy, to be honest. Yeah. And it's fine. So I might just be getting lucky there. But some chalices are nasty and have sweeper tentacles that will kill all sorts. Or my Stellaria chalice doesn't have sweeper tentacles or not that I see, but if it touches you, it's going to kill you. But others won't. Others are fine. So will it kill it? Well, it depends what it is, really. But maybe. If they're expensive zoas, don't do it.
It's not worth the risk. If they're expensive zoas, they'll probably melt on their own.
Yeah, exactly. But zoas, to be fair, there are times when I think about putting stinging corals next to zoas because they grow so bloody fast anyway.
Yeah.
That it's not necessarily a bad thing if they die. So follow-up question: what's a true chalice?
I don't know. But what's a true anything? Like it's just a name that we've given a creature. So, but I don't know. I don't know. I don't know which of all of those. Like, is the stinging variety an actual chalice, or is the non-stinging? Watch the Tidal Gardens video. Than is really good with that sort of stuff. He's really into the sciencey names and that sort of thing. But I don't know. How far should you space them? As far as you can. Because this is the thing. That's a crap answer, but it's also a good answer. Because if I were to say, I think the word they're looking for is what's the minimum minimum amount of space?
But that's not the right question. Because if you put them 2 inches away, it's going to grow.
Yeah, true.
So really, I mean, as far away as you can, basically. But I mean, but then it might be one that doesn't sting. So I don't know. All corals are a law unto themselves. Some will sting. A lot of people don't realize that SPS will sting other corals.
Yeah,
SPS will sting each other and bleach each other, but they're always described as peaceful. I think they're described as peaceful because they don't have sweeper tentacles. But corals are just aggressive creatures, weirdly, despite the way they look. But
my digitatus grows into each other, and that that stings each other as well.
Oh, really?
Even though they're both digitata.
That's
so
fun.
I don't. Yeah. I think it's. Like I'm pretty sure that's what I'm thinking of, but because they're all grown together. You know, when you first walk into the coral farm and they're all right up. Yeah, I'm sure there's certain bits of it where they're fighting, and I thought that was really interesting.
But... I would have thought they wouldn't do, to be honest. But what were the other angelfish? Going back to topic, what were the other angelfish on your list?
Okay, so this is the one that this is what I would have gone up against what was the one that I lost? I was gonna put, and I put the flame back. I would have gone for a golden angel. So
He
golden
was on my
angels
list, yeah.
the juveniles are like the coolest angelfish I think you can get in terms of a dwarf angel. They're like bronze colored, like copper colored. The adults turn a bit brown.
Yeah.
But if you've like, we're not trying to win this now, but because I knew if I put that forward, you put a brown one up. But put a copper one up just so people can see it.
Just loading. There we go. Well, no, that is quite coppery, actually. So
I really like them. That's an adult, a copper, like a bigger one.
Yeah.
If you can find a juvenile,
I can't find any images. They're quite. Here we go. They're quite secretive, from what I understand. Have you ever had one? I've never had one.
Yes, yeah. So that was. Remember, I said I had 7 dwarf angels, and that was the one that I didn't mention because I didn't want you to use it against me.
Okay. So this was on my backup list, and I've seen them. I've seen them in the flesh. They're quite rare, to be fair. You don't see them very often, do you?
Yeah, you don't. Yeah.
But they are cool. But yeah, they're just, I don't know. They're just
it was reef safe, so it's very similar to a coral beauty. I personally think so. If you look at the angelfish, some of them look a similar shape. So that doesn't look like a flame angel, does it? But it does look like a coral beauty, like the shape of it.
I suppose so. Yeah.
So a flame angel, the tail, these are more round, whereas a flame angel and a bicolor, for example, which also hasn't been mentioned, I've got like pointy tips on the backs of their fins.
Yeah, bicolor was another one that was on my list. Bicolor are massively popular. I'm not really that bothered by them. I think they're cool.
You prefer it if they take the blue off and it's just all yellow, yeah?
Yeah, 100%. When they're that bright.
Oh, like Lemonpeel.
Yeah, but here's the bicolor, and these they're cool, but I just think they're a little bit boring. I see what you mean with shape. Actually, that's a different shape as well, isn't it?
Yeah, so that's the same shape as the flame angel.
Yeah,
because it's got those tips on the backs of its fins.
Yeah, okay, but they're I don't know. They are cool, and these are quite bright. To be fair, you don't get many really. Well, actually, you get loads of bright fish, and these are pretty bright. So,
I also had a half black angel.
That was on my list as well.
Which they're again, they're not going to win the beauty contest because they're sort of black and grey with like an orange eye.
This is like a poor man's Abley. I can't get a proper photo up. This is a poor man's Abley to me. That looks like an Abley that's lost its stripes.
Yes, no one's coloured it in.
Yeah. But that was on my list. It was on my backup list. Dusky angel. Have you seen the dusky angel?
Yes. There's a dusky and also a rusty angel is another one, I think, isn't it? Neither of us went for multicolour. I had a Nox angelfish. I had one of those because you very rarely see such a black fish. Like it's like jet black.
That's what I was thinking of. The dusky angel is different. That's what I was thinking of when I said dusky angel.
The rusty angel is like a rubbish coral beauty.
No, dusky.
Yeah, no, when I said rusty, the two different ones.
You're right. You're quite right. Look, that's really drab. Look at that. No offense, but it's not even trying. Oh, look, holocanthus.
That's not even. That is probably not the right name.
Dusky angelfish. So no, Centropyge.
Yeah, that's the right name.
Oh, okay. Synonyms.
Well, it's definitely a Centropyge.
Yeah. I was going to say holocanthus. Anyway, whatever. Yeah, they're boring.
That Nox angel for years and years, the Nox angel was actually 2 different species. So that was one, and there was actually another one which is Centropyge debore, and the debore bit was actually named after his wife, who was Deborah.
Oh, that's cool.
It's so a Centropyge debore is actually very similar, but it's like navy blue rather than jet black. But for years, everyone thought they were the same fish. Yeah, it was only It was only probably like I don't know, 10 years ago or something that they were reclassified as 2 separate
LEDs
species.
Got turned on, and you're like, hang on.
yeah. Like that doesn't look like that one.
No, exactly.
But it's interesting because they would have been known for years, but even now, all the time, we're still like breaking the species down into different sections. Maybe unnecessarily.
Yeah.
A keyhole. No one said it. Oh, you're right. No one said a keyhole. Brian actually said a keyhole angel.
Keyhole angel. So I don't know what that is actually. Someone mentioned a Bellis angel in the chat, but They're not dwarfs, are they?
No, I wouldn't classify as a
They're
dwarf.
bloody massive, in fact. Frankly, oh, they're quite cool. Keyhole angelfish. I don't think I've seen these before.
Yeah,
it's loading. They're all right.
Nah,
A bit different.
Not for
I
me.
don't think I'd have one, but actually they're a little bit more boring. They're kind of dark bluey, blacky. Yeah.
I'm trying to see if there's any that we've missed. Because there's a fishers. You hardly ever see fishers dwarf angels. They're not exciting. They're sort of like vomit coloured. So that's probably why you don't see him very often.
What did you call it? Sorry, Fisher.
Fisher's angelfish. Yeah, I've only seen a couple of these, and I've never seen anyone buy one. Let's put it that way.
Looks like Tabasco sauce.
It's just a bit like brown coloured. Then again, it's not that dissimilar from the golden angel, is it? In colour.
Oh, I don't know. The golden angel's much nicer than that, and that's a funny shape as well.
Yeah,
they look like the half black, no, not half black. Sorry, the little pygmy ones.
Yeah, they're the same shape.
Pliable.
Yeah.
Flame back.
The one which I mentioned earlier, but you haven't shown a picture of, was the resplendent angelfish, and they said they're nothing special, but you just don't see them very often. So I thought they'd be worth a shout to show off.
Looks a little bit like the.
They've got weird faces.
Is that resplendent angelfish?
So one below that is a resplendent. So down.
Hang on. Reef builders will be right. Why is it taking so long to load today? Resplendent.
See, that looks like a fireball.
Resplendent fireball.
That's a hybrid, yeah. So it's the one below that, yeah.
Oh, for heaven's sake! This one.
Yeah.
I think it's a bit boring as well.
I think they're really, really expensive. They're really, really expensive. They come from a place you don't see them very often.
Yeah, that looks like a damsel to me. Like,
I just thought it was worth. These things are about showing people things that they haven't seen, and also about me winning.
True.
So
there's no price, but that's just. Would you pay thousands of pounds for that?
It's not a good. It's a bad picture of it. If you, I don't know if you can go back to one. There was one just below it, I think. No, go back again. One. That down.
Hang on a second.
There you go. Most of those. That's it. That one. Yeah, that's it. There. They got a weird face. They've got like a snubbed face, like a pug.
Yeah, there's a big tang that's got a long like top part of his face like that. But yeah, they're a bit. Is it a unicorn tang or something?
So the males have long horns, but the females don't. So,
but they've got like a long top anyway, whatever. But yeah, that's a bit boring to me. And I mean, that is a classic example of a fish that's expensive because it's rare, which is fair enough. That's about it should be, I suppose. But I don't want that. Like even if it was £1 million or a pound,
it looks just like I think it's. I'm not sure if the colours are right, but it looks just like a Starkey damselfish.
It does, exactly. That's exactly, yeah. You're quite right. Let's catch up with the chat a little bit. Do they eat aptasia like copperbands do? Oh, let's see. What are you talking about? Also, for that, who remembers, I've decided to go for a margined coral fish.
Oh, you asked that last week, didn't you, or the week before?
Really?
Yeah. What's the Centropyge?
Oh, yeah, that one. Yeah.
I'm going to Google Centropyge narcosis.
The crap version of the copperband.
In your opinion, but we need to start questioning your opinion, don't we?
Apparently so, yeah.
Narcosis. Let's have a look. Oh, that's Centropyge narcosis is boring. It's just yellow with a black dot.
Narcosis.
Yeah, not for me. Actually, none of us have done the what's the white one with the sort of blue hat?
White one with the blue hat.
It's like a multicolor, I think it's called.
Oh yeah, they're all right.
It's a multicolor, which is ironic because it's mostly white.
That's cool. This is the narcosis, and it's with what looks like a dwarf bandit.
Yeah,
I think it's just a baby. Yeah, but
So not for me. Those ones.
What was the one you just mentioned? Sorry. Oh, the multicolor.
Multicolor. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I forgot about them actually. Multicolor angelfish. They're okay. I think they're just. I wonder if these are popular because you see these quite regularly in the shop, don't you?
Yeah.
But they're a tiny bit boring to me.
They're just, that's what I'm saying. It's ironic they're called multicolor, because think of all the other like angelfish, like a flame angel, which suits multicolor better than a mostly white fish.
It does have several, more than, like 3
More
or 4
than one
colours,
color.
but
They looked at it and they went, what do we call this?
Yeah, they probably tried calling it one thing, and that was only worth $10, and then they tried calling it a multicolor, and suddenly it's worth $30. So
yeah, no, I think they're worth more than that. They cost quite a lot of money, I think.
oh, I don't really pay any attention to them. Multicolors is a multicolor angels become a poor man's nahaki when kept in our tank lights. Never.
Oh, I hate it when people do this, because I have to Google what that is as well.
Angelfish. Yeah. I've never seen that before.
They're basically very similar. I've never seen one of those.
Me neither. Yeah,
I love it when people show me fish I've never seen.
I love it when people show me cool fish I've never seen.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, there's probably loads of fish that we've never seen.
Yeah, but not anything like that. All right. Well, so I've lost. Oh, God's sake! Every week.
I mean, this is it's starting to get embarrassing.
We need to do like who's got the best cat.
Well, I have no cat, so you're definitely
exactly. So
if it's a surefire way for you to win, you're in.
Who's got the least fish? That sort of thing.
I would like I would like to ask the chat if they would like to ask us anything, because it's been a relatively short stream, this one, but it feels like it's coming. I don't know if you agree. It's coming to a natural end. Would you agree?
I agree, yeah.
Yeah. So we will give you a chance to have questions if you like, and then if not, if there's nothing you'd be interested in knowing, we will go.
We'll do it. There'll be questions. There's always questions. Everyone always wants to know stuff, don't they? But we'll do 15 minutes or so of questions.
Have you done anything new with your tanks this week? And if you say watch my videos, no. Yeah. Is there anything? What new and exciting has been going on?
I've put new lights on my tank.
Oh yes, that's true. You have put new lights in your tank. Are you allowed to release the information?
Yeah, they're Reef Factory Reef flares. They were given to me, of course, and I put them up today. I've not spent much time with the tank, but I miss the shimmer already. I don't have shimmer from Kessels anymore, which is a shame. I do love the shimmer.
Can you fit the Kessels on as well?
No, I did. I did think about that, but so the thing is that the Reef what's it called, Reef Factory. So I have the Reef Flare the Reef Flare full spectrum on my water box, and it looks the tank looks phenomenal. It just looks so good. So I've gone, but my lights are at 5% on the white channel, so I'm wasting all those lights. So these are the blue spectrum, so they have just fewer white LEDs. So I've only just set it up, so I've not dialed it in properly yet. But the blue looks so much better than before. Like the Reef Brights, I just didn't like. I didn't get on with them. They're just not my cup of tea. They do give fluorescence, but I've said it 1,000 times before. It's not the real deep fluorescence that I wanted. So I was disappointed. That's not what I thought I was getting.
Yeah.
Whereas the Reef Factory ones, the blues just look phenomenal. And I got to the point where I thought my tank looked crap on camera, so I didn't take many photos or videos of it. I tried to avoid it. I tried to use older footage if I could.
Yeah.
And that's a good enough reason to change them. But I also didn't like the way it looked. The Kessels are amazing. I love them, but I didn't like the way the Reef Brights look. So I've gone for Reef Factories. And because these were given to me, I feel more obliged to keep them.
That's true.
So with a bit of luck.
It's funny because I obviously knew about this in advance because you told me privately. Yeah. And my first thought was, well, let's see how long they stay on for.
I know.
because I know what you're like. I think you will probably end up adding the Kessels with them just for the shimmer.
I possibly. So I might end up adding, because they don't completely cover the top of my tank, so I might end up adding strip bars to them as well. I think I can probably do without that. I certainly don't need any more par. They've got a lot of par, these things. Okay. So I certainly don't need any more par, but I do like the full coverage. But what I would my dream is for Kessel to make an LED strip bar that has a few small pucks. So you get the full length coverage, but you also get the shimmer. That is my dream strip bar, LED strip bar. I don't know if anyone else.
You should invent it. You should invent it, shouldn't you?
I need Kessel to make it. Kessel, I want 10% of all your profits. But I don't know if it's just, I don't know if I'm the only person who wants that, because when people add strip lights, they want loads of coverage and like 1,000 LEDs and like good blanket and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And that's all I want is like 4 single point clusters. So it wouldn't be the full on the full on spread. So
do you think there's anyone else in the world that pays this much attention to their lights?
No,
because I
wouldn't.
I don't know. Like genuinely, on the coral farm, if you said to me, "Do you have shimmer on the coral farm?" I'll go, "I have no idea. I've never noticed."
Okay.
I know the GHL lights on the angelfish tank have shimmer, but and I don't know how much in comparison to a Kessel. But I couldn't tell you if the Radions have shimmer. I don't think Radions do have shimmer.
They have shimmer, just not as much. The Kessel's just most LEDs. I was going to say most LEDs have shimmer, unless it's like the Neptune Sky or the ATI Straton or the Philips Coral Care. Yeah. But Kessel shimmer is just something else. It's just so good. But the blues aren't. It looks a bit crap. Anyway, do you know what? So that's what's going on with me. I've got some new lights. It might take me a little bit of time to get the video out. But I've got them, and you'll see the lights in my videos, because now the tank it'll look awesome on camera, so I'll use loads of photos of it. Do Rasses next, Brian Mac says.
No, I like to compete with. I only compete where I can win.
I don't really know squat about angels, because I've never really I've owned one in my life.
When did you own? Oh, you owned the Regal. You mean? Yeah. I thought you meant dwarf angels. Yeah.
No, I've never had a dwarf angel. So, but we'll do Rasses week. Okay. Very cichlid fan UK. Can I keep a Scooter Blenny and a Mandarin in a 4-foot tank together?
I have done it.
I was going to say, yeah, because they're you couldn't keep 2 Scooter Blennies together unless they're a male or female pair. Yeah, because they'll fight. But I think you'll be able to get away with it because they're a different fish.
I have done it. The only thing you need to take into consideration is, as long as they're both getting enough food and not like jumping out. Is that why you were doing this?
Yeah.
But yeah, as long as they're getting enough food, then you should be fine. Because they're literally, the coral farm has them in together as well.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, and I'd quite like that as well. I think they're cool fish, both of them. I like Scooter Blennies. The Scooter Blennies are a bit bland, but I think they're really cool.
Well, it depends which ones. If you got like the scarlet,
yeah. I just mean like the standard. Yeah,
you're talking about the brown ones, yeah.
But they've got a charm to them themselves. Adam Johnson says best fish for a fluval evo.
Scooter Blenny.
Scooter Blenny. Bad fish. That's a bad fish.
No, I was just joking. Don't like come out with your pitchforks.
They won't have enough food. Clownfish are a wicked choice for a flea believer. I also have a shrimp goby in there, a Randalls or a Wheelers. Forget which one it is, the red and white one, whatever one that is. There aren't many choices. Royal Grammar's not a bad choice, but go on live. Best thing when you're choosing fish, go on Live Aquaria, and then you can sort by nano fish, you can sort by temperament, you can sort by reef compatibility.
White cap goby. That's a cool, interesting. It's an interesting fish. Why are you laughing?
Because you'll see it once every 5 years.
That's true. Yeah, I genuinely put one of those in a 1,000 liter tank, and I did know where it was, but the problem was to get food to it. I had to feed lobster eggs, because that was the only thing where it would disperse enough to eventually get to it, and so it was a pain because I had to feed just this one fish a whole cube, just so it could eat.
So I don't like that. When you've got a fish that you have to feed like just a ton of food for that one fish, I hate that.
That's what the cod bands are like with domestic.
I know, that's the thing. Yeah. Even with, I have to feed more food than I'd like because of the copper band. You get skinny when I back off the feeding. Yeah. Anyway, Stuart Webb, what should be next? What should my next fish be? 120 litres, got a pair of clowns and inverts at the moment. What I would go for a Royal Grammar next. What would you go for? It's all so personal. But
that's what I'm saying. People often say pick a coral for me, and I'm like, well, I like this coral. Do you like it?
it's like if someone said pick a t-shirt for me.
Yeah. Firefish, I find are all right. Or actually, you like things like hawkfish and things like that, don't you? So
that's probably a bit too small for a hawkfish.
Really? They just sit around, don't they?
Yeah, but I think they're quite inquisitive. I don't know. Maybe that's okay. I don't know. But maybe. Oh, actually, do you know what's a good shout? Blenny.
Make sure you got a lid.
Yeah. Pictures Blenny. They're cool. Little tiny diddy things.
I've always like they're wearing little suits.
Yeah, they do a little bit. They're tiny, but I've always wondered how they are with corals. And if you research them enough, you'll find someone who said they've battered my LPS or SPS or whatever.
They're the little pinstripe suits.
Yeah, they're cool though. They're the little bristletooth tanks. Lipstick tang in a Waterbox LX 270.6, which is your tank, I think.
Yeah, it is my tank. Yes, and I would absolutely put a lipstick tang in there. That's a big tank, and lipstick tang is. Problem is, are you talking about a lipstick tang, or are you talking about lipstick tang? Because you get tiny ones and you get absolute massive adult ones. But either way, I'd put maybe not an absolute massive one, but I'd put one in there. Yeah,
smallish one and be fine for years.
Yeah.
Stevie G and his reef. Bit off topic. Coral Freaks back in 2019. Is this still happening? Well, it's happened. Is it happening again? Yeah. So it was a one-off. COVID hit after that, didn't it?
Yeah.
So I did talk to AAC Paul, I don't know, a year ago maybe, and he was thinking about the idea possibly, but I don't think he's got a massive appetite for it because it was just so much effort.
It would be a lot of hard work to put one of those on. It would be a lot of hard work.
And it doesn't look like it. So it's easy for hobbyists to think, oh, you know what, come on, just get on with it. But it would be cool if it did happen again, but I'm not holding my breath. But yeah.
Because we're gonna have a prestige reef thing in my garden, aren't we?
Yeah, we are, yeah. Steve Webb, question. I've got a bad case of bryopsis. What is the best way to get rid of it? Oh God.
I don't know is the honest answer.
I don't know. Go on.
I know it's something that's very difficult to get rid of. It's an algae, is it? I've never had to face it, so I don't know much.
Isn't it like a stringy? I think the same. I think it's very difficult to get rid of. Supposedly, that whenever I hear people talking about it, I don't know if they do they? Fish?
I think some rabbit fish eat it.
Oh, really? Okay.
I'm pretty sure some rabbit fish eat it. Although there are weird ways of getting rid of it, like lowering different. Is it magnesium? I don't want to say things I don't know.
Magnesium, right. Exactly. That's so. Whenever I hear about it, and I've never done this, but whenever I hear about bryopsis, people say raising your magnesium is the best way to deal with it, most effective way. But I don't know. It's tough. Here's a good question. Why are tanks with curved glass front panels not popular in the reefing hobby? Have you ever had a curved fish tank?
No, but they're a terrible idea.
They are. I had a dual. What was it called? A 4-foot
trigon. Is it? No, the curved one you had. You didn't have the corner one.
Dual something. It was It was a 4-foot bow-fronted tank.
Yeah, I know.
And when you see them in the shop, you're like, oh my God, that looks so cool. And you get it and you fill it with water and you're like, that looks rubbish.
Yeah.
I can't remember if it was difficult to clean algae off. It was so like it was a fresh one too. So
think about an algae magnet. They're flat on a
but the thing is a very gentle curve. So I don't think that was a problem. But they look rubbish. And it does distort the view, exactly. And you try taking a photo, there's just the angle is just awful, and it just even when you look through it, it just looks funny. And just both find the tanks are a terrible idea. They feel like they're going to be awesome, but they're a bad idea. I think so. That's probably why they're not popular. In your Nasha Barnhart says, in your opinion, what's the absolute best thing about reef keeping? As in, what's your favorite thing? I think
it's like a science project for me. I quite enjoy it, and it never ends. It literally never ends.
That's for me. There's you can be in this hobby. You've been in this hobby what, 10, 15 years? 15 years?
15 years, yeah.
And you probably have only learned 10% of it.
Yeah, there's you can do it at any level as well. You can do it if you want a tank full of xenia, still got a reef tank. And you can put a clownfish in it. Some people are happy with that. If you're not looking to keep the hardest acropora and things like that, so there is something for everyone here. You might get bored of having a tank full of xenia and with one clownfish in it, but it's still a reef tank.
But that's the beauty of it. There's no end to the challenge, and there's always something new. There's just millions of different corals. There's things to keep you occupied all the time. There'll always be something going on that you don't know about that you've got to work out. And it just
and I think you can always improve on what you're doing. Is the first thing, but not the first thing, but another thing. But also, when things are going wrong, that's when they're most interesting, usually. If your tank has nothing going wrong with it for 6 months, no tweak, everything's perfect, I promise you, people get bored.
You do get bored, but then when you start having problems, you wish you were bored again.
Yes. So all of a sudden, like your salinity dropped the other day, didn't it? Oh no, it was too high the other day, I think.
Too high, and it's
Yeah.
I've still got, so I still haven't lost anything, but I've got a couple of corals that are still looking a bit pissed off.
Ropey, yeah.
SPS, and it's just like and so it probably wasn't the best time to change lights, but
I think to some it's a challenge for people. We're trying to keep something which should not be in our living room in our living room. It's as simple as that. Then again, it would also be challenging to have a tiger in my living room, but I'm not saying I want that either.
For different reasons. I've just realized there's a million questions, and by the way, I think so. I don't think we're going to do Rasses next week. I want to do a question and answer session because I really enjoy this part of the stream.
Yeah.
So we're going to do that next week, I reckon. But anyway,
okay.
We'll do something around that. What's your thoughts on cold water salt tanks? I think they're like coral beauties, only worse.
No,
they're just the cold, like, because you get native UK fish tanks that are cold water.
How cold are we talking though? Because you also get like Catalina Goby cold, which is slightly less.
Okay. So that kind of level, I think I'd kind of be up for, though you're too limited with your choices.
Yeah.
But I think they just kind of mean like British cold water. So like 10 degrees steel,
not
50 degrees Fahrenheit, whatever. No, it's just not my cup of tea. And I've seen a few of them, and they're just really boring to me. They're really bland, and I just don't, because the whole point for me of saltwater is how spectacular everything looks, and if everything's just brown, I don't know. And there's also not that much information out there. So like if I want to go and buy a flame angel, I can find a million people who've had one and have kept them with the same corals. I've got all these sorts of things. If I want to keep a halibut or whatever cold water fish you get, there's not a lot of information out there. And so actually I think they're quite difficult. And I also bet keeping a tank that cool is going to be tricky.
Also, where'd you get the stock? You just go down to the beach and catch a fish.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I think that's what people do. But so yeah, I'm not keen on it. Kalkwasser. Right, I'm answering that one. John Wright, I'm planning on dosing calc and I want to use a 19-litre water dispenser container with a DDP1 stepper doser. Do I need to drill another small hole to get air back into it? Yes, you do. Tiny little pinprick hole. Basically, so I had it completely airtight on my first container. And because as the dosing pump draws water out, it's normally you draw air in and it equalizes, but it sucks the container in. So it creates a vacuum. So yeah, you do need a tiny hole. It doesn't even need to be a hole. It can just be, I had a rubber seal on the lid and I took the rubber seal off and it was fine. But yes, you do need air to get in because as you pull Kalkwasser out, you need something to go back in, air. But it needs to be small.
Just quickly, someone mentioned about, I think it was Stephanie, I think from memory, mentioned about where to get nori from. It's very quick. I buy mine off eBay. So it's just helpful to answer that question. I know you skipped it for some reason.
I didn't see it, but that's one of the things. There's a million questions as well. Can you get nori without garlic? If so, what brand? Yeah, okay. So that's one of those things that we pay reef tax on because it's just, you think, oh, what nori should I get? I don't know. Should I get the right one? Is this reef safe? And so you end up spending 15 quid for a tiny packet, but the reality is supermarket or eBay or whatever. It's fine.
You used to be able to buy 100 sheets of it for like 10 quid. And now it's like, it's not. And the sheets were like A4 sheets. Now it's 100 sheets for like 20 quid or something. And they're like this.
I still buy. Last time I bought it, I bought shop stuff though, because I don't use much of it at all.
Yeah.
So I don't really care that and it comes in a nice convenient pack that's sealed.
Yeah.
So I don't really care that it's expensive because if it's 10 quid, it's going to last me ages anyway. But...
I use it all the time, every day, because I've got so many tanks.
Yeah, I suppose so. What do you do to coral before introducing them to a DT? So I dip them. Yeah. And that's about it. I probably should inspect them and cut them off the frag plug, all that sort of stuff. Yeah. You do.
Yeah, I do. Yeah. So obviously the corals are coming in on they're not on plugs, actually on like big bases, which are all covered in algae and things. So I cut everything back to the bone. I'll use a toothbrush to remove anything off the coral skeleton. Then I'll dip them just to see if there is anything that comes off of them. You do get all sorts of weird stuff on corals, things you'd never see, like you don't, for whatever reason, you never see them in a fish shop. But I think they don't last very long, which is why you never see them. But when they first come in from the wild, you get some crazy stuff. But yeah, so that's what I do. But the best practice is basically to cut them off at the cut is not to put the plug in the tank if you can.
Because that's where the eggs are normally laid of any pests. So yeah, I should do that more. I don't tend to do it. But do you know what? I've never had a coral pest and I've bought a lot of corals.
So what about those bloody Asterinas?
They're not pests. They're flea cleanup crew. I've never had a proper bad coral pest. I did dip a big fat flatworm once, but they came off in the dip. But I've never had a bad coral pest.
You had a flatworms on one of your. In one of the videos I saw, you had flatworms on this one piece of coral.
I bought a Porites, and it had a particular type of flatworm on it, and it was weird. I left it in there. I saw it straight away when I bought the frag, but I left it. I was just like, let's see what happens, and it didn't spread to any because it obviously wasn't doing any harm. It was covering the coral, so it was losing light, but the coral was fine, and they looked benign, and they didn't ever spread. They didn't go on any other coral at all, and I took it out and dipped it, and they all died off. Tiny little grey ones, and then I went back to the shop I got it from, and all of the Porites had it on as well.
Yeah,
and I was like,
they can be specific to one species.
Maybe they're just like eating the slime of that particular coral or something. But it was, But so, and that again, that wasn't bad. But I've never. That's luck that I've not had a pest. So, but that's probably I'm complacent.
What about those? What about those Aptasia you got?
They're not a pest.
God, your definition of pest is very different to everyone else's.
This is true. Aptasia. So I've had Aptasia, but when I say a pest, I mean a pest like Monty eating nudies or Zoa spiders or something nasty. I've had millions of pests, and Aptasia is a pain in the backside, but it's not that bad. And it's like Monty nudies, you shut your tank down and it'll make you cry. Aptasia, just get a copper band. Don't get a copper band.
I was going to say more dangerous advice.
There's millions of questions come up. I've made a mistake.
There is so many questions. It's been quite quiet this whole thing.
Jay's Real Reef is
a rapid fire round.
I will try. Jay's Real Reef is a big advocate of supplementary lighting bars alongside prime lights. Jay recently got a Reef Bright strip either side of his Radion, and it's just wicked. Right, can a Diamond Goby and Hector's Goby get along in a 60-gallon cube? Ryan, go. Quick.
I don't recommend Diamond Gobies to anyone.
They're the sound sifting ones, right?
Yeah. 1 second.
I don't know what Hector Goby is, to be honest. I've never kept it.
So they're very different Gobies. They should be fine, but I wouldn't.
Oh, those things.
I wouldn't have both of them if I'm honest, and
they're
I definitely wouldn't
get Goby, right?
Yeah, they're Rainford is what I know them as.
I
wouldn't get a Diamond Goby. I never advise anyone to get a Diamond Goby because they almost all of them starve.
Same for Rainford Goby.
Really?
Yeah. Well, as far as I understand,
they've got a much smaller mouth, so they need far less food. They do sort of I've had a Hector's Goby and it was completely fine. So. Okay. But Diamond Gobies, I think I've had a couple and both of them starved, so I just went no more.
What do you think of a Lubbock's wrasse? I've never had one.
Me either.
I don't know what it is.
I'm terrible at wrasses. So
I have a Royal Grammar on timeout in my sump. Interesting. Fluconazole and Flux RX apparently for bryopsis. Tommy Tang ate one. That's slightly surprising. Right, what else have we got going on? Dual Vision, that was it. Thanks, Simon. Yeah, Dual Vision. It was awful. And Bubbly Reef says curved tanks give us seasickness. Andy likes the Dual Vision. I liked it until I got it, and then I was like,
If I had a dual tank. Well, as my first tank, it was a dual Rio 400. So it was the
square one, rectangle.
And it's funny because at the time I was like, this is a quality tank. This is like top quality. And then now, once you've been in the hobby for a longer time, you're like, a Red Sea is a quality tank or a water box is a quality tank.
Fluval Roma. Everyone had a Fluval Roma, right? A Fluval Roma 125. Yeah. And that felt amazing. But then, but this is the thing, like a Red Sea reefer is a lot more quality, but it bloody should be because it's expensive. It's 4 times the price.
Yeah, true, yeah.
So, cod and haddock for cold water. Lovely. With chips. James says his fox face keeps nipping at the surface and blowing bubbles. Is it retarded? Yes, Probably. It is. But that's what they do. They all do that. Mine do that all the time.
Yeah,
and it's quite funny. I don't really know why they do it, but yeah, they all do it. Are you going to do a top 10 Euphilia, Fimbria and other corals after fish? No, because that's no, I'm not. Are there top 10? Are there 10 Filia?
It would be different colors.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's
yeah.
not quite the same as like, because top 10 tangs, for example, there's loads of variety in tangs, but top 10 hammer corals.
Yeah.
So could do top 10 corals, LPS corals, didn't we? I think we've done that. Okay.
Yeah, I think we did.
Quick fire. Right. I've got behind. I got my first coral sarcophyton. It's attached to a big rock with string in a cross underneath. How would I cut and reattach it? So yeah.
Basically don't.
Because that's why people tie them down, right? Because they don't grip. Well, it takes them ages to grip.
They can be a pain. I don't frag them because they float around the tank. If that's a small one, then it will definitely float around. If it's a big one, they're not easy to reattach, basically.
Yeah.
You're better off if you want to chip if you use a chisel and break the rock rather than remove the coral from the rock.
Yeah. Okay. Next question. Lee Smith has got vermitids. Any good advice? Yeah, just ignore them. Learn to live with them.
They're a very difficult thing to get rid of. Some people say dove snails. I have tried 70 dove snails, and then someone showed me a video of it working, but that was like one.
Yeah, but it's one in 1,000, so it's possible. So I genuinely, my advice is learn to live with them. If you can manually remove them, sometimes they'll go into a coral that's encrusted, and you can just snap a bit off and throw it away, and you get rid of like 30. But generally, they're just getting rid of them is just not possible. So learn to put up with them. I have some in my tank, but actually they don't spread that much, and I don't tend to notice them anymore.
Sometimes they reach a population limit and then they all die. I don't know why that happens, but that's and some people say marine snow works for them as well because they're like blocks their tubes. But
okay, cool. Question. Is a fluval spec 60-litre marine just a money grab because it's 8 centimeters taller than the fluval Evo 13.5? So I looked at the fluval spec when I got the fluval Evo. I don't think it's a money grab. I like the idea of more water volume, even though it's only a small amount. It's probably a good thing. But in reality, is it going to make much difference if it's 50 or 60 litres? Probably not. And the fluval spec is a funny shape. The thing I really love about that tank is it looks cool. And the fluval spec is just a tool. It's more of a cube. It's a bit ugly, I think.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's a money grab. But I wouldn't buy it personally. And James manages vermitids by crushing them at the base, which is manual removal basically. We'll cover them in pate. But yeah, it's a pain in the backside. Tail spot with a Midas blending together. Tail spot with a Midas.
I don't actually know.
Think, aren't they both Essensius blennies? If so, you don't want to mix the two. I wouldn't risk it personally because you don't see many people with multiple blennies together, and there's probably a good reason for that. But I don't know the answer for sure. But let's have a look. Essensius Midas, and what was the other one? Tail spot.
I think they're different.
Essensius Stigmatura.
So
they're both of the genus Essensius. So I personally wouldn't. And the thing is, if you can't find anyone who's done it, there's a reason.
Yeah, but then again, people would say you can't keep you can't keep 7 dwarf angels in one tank, and one idiot did it.
But mixing conspecifics is generally a bad idea, right? Because they'll generally fight. So I wouldn't do that personally. I'm not signing that off, is what I'm saying. Fluval Roma. Do you boys run ozone? I'd love to run ozone, but I never have. Have you ever run ozone?
No.
Right, quick fire round. I'd love to run ozone. Do you boys run ozone? Do you know what? We're more or less caught up to the end. So that's good. My foxface keeps eating the polyps on my barley green slimer. Yeah. So mine used to, like, if barley green slime, mine used to. Are you laughing at the photo of the?
No, I'm laughing because you went, yeah. As if to go, yeah. They're kind of, that's just how that happens.
My foxface loves eating slime from SPS. So if I took a barley green slime out of the water, it all slimed up and put it back in. The foxface is always over munching it. Excuse me. So yeah, they're it does it.
I don't think foxfaces are not that reef safe. They might be reef safe in your tank, which is mostly SPS, but they're not that reef safe.
I think that. So I've got a fox face in my LPS tank, and I've had loads of LPS with fox faces. I think they are 90. It's all about risk, right? So there's no. Then they are not reef safe, right? It's not. It's not true to say it's not like a clownfish, which is 100% reef safe. But I think they're probably 90. You're 90% likely to have success with a fox face with not eating your corals, but you might be one of the 10%. That's my take on it. There was another question as well that I did see. John White would like a stream on fish for less than 100 quid. There's lots of good fish for less than 100 quid. It's not a bad shout, John.
Well, I need to work out how much. I don't know how much fish cost anymore. So if you see what I mean, I'm so out of it
that you don't even look at prices. That's what you're saying.
No, what I'm saying is I'm so out of like I haven't bought fish in a long time. So
no, I don't pay attention. I don't really do that anymore. I don't go looking to see how much fish are. I go in and look, and I don't really buy many fish either.
So I was in a it was interesting. So I was in a fish shop at the weekend with a lady who doesn't know about fish, and she saw a lionfish, and this lionfish cost £60, and it was the most exciting fish in the shop for her. And it was interesting to see the difference. So that her opinion is only based on how that fish looks compared to other fish. And she was like, that fish only £60. I would pay way more money for that fish. And I was like, it's going to eat all the other fish. So it's interesting the opinion of based on not knowing what a fish should cost or anything else.
Do you remember what you were like when you first started in the hobby?
Yeah, I wanted a lionfish. She literally just messaged me laughing.
Yeah, exactly.
But I wanted lionfish.
Exactly. I did the same thing. And then after you spend when you're going to do it, you spend a bit of time researching it. And then you're like, oh, actually, yeah, that's a terrible idea. And then you're like, oh, I'll get a file fish though. Sorry, a puffer fish. And then you're like, oh no, that's a terrible idea. And
so now that you know that she's watching, what's your opinion on a lionfish?
Really, the worst fish you could possibly buy.
And how much do you think? And what would be a good rate to pay for a lionfish?
I mean, if you gave me £1 million, I would take it off you and do the world a favor and kill it. Sorry, I know that sounds really bad.
No,
actually, no, because it's in. If it was I would take it out of the ocean and do that because people go and hunt lionfish. They're paid environmentalists because they're invasive. I wouldn't kill a fish from a shop. But no, you could not pay me any money to take a lionfish and keep one. Just not happening.
They are £1
million.
They are an awful choice. Unless if you have a tank specific for predators, then I was going to
say there's a guy on Instagram called Things with Stings Reef or Things with Stings or something, and he's got a load of scorpion fish and frogfish, and he's got I think he's got a fuzzy dwarf lionfish.
I was considering one of those. I was considering one of those, yeah, because I thought I want there to be interesting fish in the tank in the house, and
I'd worry about it eating inverts though.
I'm not really planning to have any inverts in there. The only thing I'd worry about eating would be like the lionfish. Not the lionfish, like the clownfish and things like that.
Yeah, this is true.
If I got a really baby one, like a little tiny one, and it would be the yellow fuzzy ones. Is the one
I don't like predator fish though. I don't like seeing a fish hunt in my tank. I don't like that. I don't know what it is, but yeah. Here we go. What's Ryan's opinion on buying frags from hobbyists? As in you buying frags off hobbyists? Do you do that?
Yeah, I do. I buy frags from hobbyists. Yeah. Quite often I'll buy. There's no point in me going and buying one frag from someone, but I will. Not all the time, but don't get a load of people message me going, I've got a football-sized piece of Hystrix. Do you want to buy it? But yeah, I will, if someone's got something that's rare and quite a lot of it and it's the right price, I will buy it from them. The problem is people need to realize that I have to sell it as well. So if you're selling it at the market rate and you want to sell me 10 pieces, there's got to be a deal for a multi-buy, if you see what I mean.
This is always so. I anytime any of the shops I go and sell corals to, they always whatever price they offer me, I take. I'm always happy. I've never come away from a deal thinking, oh god, I've been screwed over there, because I know that they've got to sell it for 3 times the price or whatever. So I'm totally cool with that. But they often say that people come in and they're like, hey mate, this is worth £100, so you need to give me £100. It's like that's not how it works.
yeah. So.
Woody's gamer tag super chat Who is to blame for nipping Duncans? More coming. Firstly, thank you for the super chat.
That's the first super chat you've had in ages.
Oh, more coming. It is, yeah. Rarer than a win on these live streams. My wife is convinced that something is nipping her prized Duncans. That sounds a bit rude, doesn't it? The list of culprits is emerald crabs, possibly. Hermit crabs, no. Is that it? There's got to be more in your tank than that. It might not be getting nipped.
Might just be dying.
Duncans sulk when they're not happy with the water quality. Do you know what? Salinity is my bet.
Well, you don't know. How big is this tank? Have you got loads of coral eaters in there, or is it literally just? I would guess
it's quite small, but it might be the emerald crabs. But you could.
Of those two, I'd have picked the emerald.
It won't be hermits. I wouldn't have thought, but I probably think I reckon it's probably neither of them.
Unless it's one of those massive hermits, which is like hand size walking around.
Yeah, true. That's quite a narrow question, though.
Yeah.
Post photos of your tank on a forum, and so people can see everything in there. And also, just because one coral's sad and all the others are good doesn't mean your water's okay. It might just be that one is the canary in the coal mine. Do you have this? I get asked this so much. Do you have a video about the jellyfish in the background? I don't.
They're plastic.
They're plastic. They are fake. I did think about them. I started recording a bit of footage, but I never made one because it's a bit crap, actually, because it's supposed to do this. They're supposed to spin, and they don't really do that. They do sometimes. But no, I don't. It was 20 quid on Amazon. There might be an affiliate link in the description.
Money well spent.
It's all right. I kind of like it, to be fair. And I like that it glows blue, but no, I don't have a video on it. It's not the Firefish. Salinity is 1.025 measured daily with a calibrated device. Clownfish striped blenny could be a striped blenny.
Yeah.
The blenny is the one that stands out for me. But yeah, don't know. Why don't you replace it with in real life jellyfish tank? Because that would be a pain in the ass.
Oh,
You've had a jellyfish tank.
I've had a jellyfish tank. Oh, like that was actually one of my most popular videos. People love that video for some reason. I'm not sure why. But the jellyfish, they're the most ungrateful pets you can get. Basically, I like to be appreciated. If you feed a dog will give you love. You know, even a cat will give you some love.
Yeah.
Even a tortoise, but jellyfish, they are the least good. You can see, like, I've got some sort of pent up
psychological problem here. Right,
they are the least grateful pet you can get, and they are hard work, as far as I'm concerned. If you want to keep it clean, they're hard work.
Yeah, I did see a video that it was a jellyfish tank salesman trying to sell jellyfish, and the way he was describing it, I was like, "Come on, mate!" It was as if it was a piece of cake. Oh, it's so easy, just a little bit of maintenance. And I was like, no way. They're fussy as hell, and there's a reason loads of people don't have them. Charles Bettany, thank you very much for the super chat. 5 squid. How's the rock doing in your tank, right?
I think Charles is the person who gave me the rock, I think.
Oh, really?
I'm pretty sure Charles is the person who gave me the rock. At the moment, the rock is the same as it was it's not doing it. There's nothing exciting going on with the rock at the moment. It's just rock. So soon it'll be more interesting. Because the reason it's just the same at the moment is because there's no lights on it, so nothing's growing. It's in salt water, and the salt water is heated up. But it's just at the moment it's just rock. But coming soon, very soon. A video was meant to go out today, and there was a technical error, so I will get it out tomorrow. Is what I'll do.
£5,000 tank pet rock.
Yeah, basically, yeah. It's just. Have you ever been to one of those Indian restaurants where they have a fish tank that's got water in it, that's got nothing in it but rock?
Okay.
Have you been to one of those?
I've seen like fish tanks, but like freshwater, but not empty.
Oh no, because there's one near me, and I know another one as well. It's a fish tank with nothing in it, just rock. It's like, what's the point?
Fair enough. Rock's easy to keep, to be fair.
That's true.
Less grateful than a jellyfish, though.
Well, barely. I can assure you.
Blue Oval, Neil. My refloat ATU went up the spout overnight, and my Duncans have hated it. No, that's not what the question I was trying to answer. Someone said about new ATU recommendation. Actually, I was going to say the refloat, but I've had a couple of issues. Thing is, I've had issues with every single auto top off I've ever bought. Tunsies, one of them's packed up. Tunsi Osmolator. This packed up. I've had it for about a year. I had to take it down because.
I've had one of those for literally years
That's
and
the
years
thing. I'm
and
not saying
years.
it's reliable, but and Tunsies have a great reputation for reliability. Mine's broken and it's knackered. I had problems with my refloat. I've had problems with. Have I ever had a DD one? I think I had problems with. Maybe I can't remember now. But they're all vulnerable to risk. Tunsi has got the best reputation. I would hold on. Oh, it's packed up, hasn't it? You can they're modular, the refloat. So I would replace the bit that's broken. I really like the look of the Red Sea one, and I'm hoping they're going to send me one. I've not heard anything for a little while, so maybe they won't. But I think
You'll get it tomorrow now. You mentioned it on
yeah,
these streams.
yeah, maybe.
You mentioned on these streams, all of a sudden things start turning up in the post.
Indeed, yeah. I also haven't had a unicorn recently, so one other first time catching a Reef Dork stream and did not expect to see Woody's gamer tag. Oh, is Woody's gamer tag a thing? Cool. Hello. He's a celebrity, I think. All right. Anyway, hang on.
Did you hear that then?
Sorry.
Could you hear my computer then? I was looking at because I didn't. There was someone on the stream earlier, Danny's Aquariums. I didn't know who that was.
Yeah.
He's got loads of followers.
Do you know his channel? Oh, I meant to ask him. Every time I see him, I mean to ask. He had recently, like his videos have been doing okay, but in the last not better than me, by the way.
Yeah.
And you know he's growing fast, but in the last 6 months, his channel exploded, absolutely exploded with subscribers.
Is it freshwater?
No, saltwater.
Is it? I didn't know that.
Yeah. And
Is he the one where it's little tanks? There's like 3 little tanks.
Yeah, that in his apartment, in his bedroom. Yeah.
It's filmed like from a fancy perspective. Do you know what I mean?
Kind of like style.
Yes.
Yeah.
But there's not talking, is there? Or is there?
Yeah, he talks. Yeah, he does now. He didn't used to.
Yeah, I have seen it. Yeah.
Yeah, but his channel has exploded, and I'm like, what are you doing? I don't know if he's just had like one video that's blown up or something, but I'm like, oh, that's interesting. Because my channel's just it's growing. It's growing okay, but anyway. The question for Reef Dork: if you could be gifted any tank for free, but you had to pay for the gear and upkeep, what tank would you want? I've thought about that a lot because I got offered a free tank recently, but it would have been actually quite a burden for me because I'd have had to buy all the equipment, and I don't want to break down my tank. More to the point. Anyway, we had to think, what tank would you want? Probably the one Ryan's got. Only they brought out a new one with a bracing, a Euro brace.
Yeah.
So I think I'd want that. I might.
Do you want to go the size up?
No, 6 foot is 6 foot is enough. It would either be that or the Elos, diamond line, because I think
are they the ones where the tank sits into the stand?
And it's got that's a Niles.
Oh, is it? Oh, yeah, no, it is a Niles. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, I always get it.
And I think that they've not been very popular from what I can make out. But no, the Elos, they're Italian, they're expensive. I don't know. I think probably the water box. There's also a Red Sea triple XL 900, I think. That looks cool. But just the thing I love about your tank is the 2.5 feet front to back. I just love that. Yeah. It's just the width on a tank is just the most amazing thing in the world.
Looks way better when there's fish in it.
Yeah. And yeah, well, have you got clownfish in there?
No, it was meant to go in this weekend.
I thought you did have.
No, because so I ordered from a website, and the delivery was meant to turn just a bottle of Fritz bacteria. And it was meant to turn up on Thursday. It didn't turn up, and then it didn't turn up on Friday. It didn't turn up on Saturday either. Wow. So it's now meant to be.
You mentioned that at the start, yeah.
Yeah. So hopefully.
Woody's gamer tag, by the way, sorry to interrupt, has 1.2 million subscribers and 400 million views.
Really?
Dude, that is serious. I'm not really into gaming, but that is very impressive.
What games? What game is it?
I don't know.
It's really interesting the people that you come across.
Yeah, cool. There you go. All right. Anyway, I think we're going to wrap it up there because we've hit 2 hours now.
Yeah, it's interesting because the second half of this felt much easier than the first half. I think it's because of the interaction with the chat.
Yeah, so
We
we've
don't
done
like
a lot.
talking to each other.
No, but like, so talking to each other is great. But we've done a lot of these best fish
Yeah,
and fish
yeah.
versus fish. And if I'm completely honest, and I probably shouldn't say this, I'm getting a little bit bored of them now.
Losing. A little bit bored of
Not losing. I don't care about that. But like, and it's not. I want to do more of them. I really do. But because we've done so many in a row, I'm not really feeling pumped about it. So I think we should have a break from it and come back to it again, because I do want to do others, the wrasses and all that sort of stuff. But we'll have a break from it. And I enjoy talking to the channel, that sort of stuff. The Red Sea ATO is already out. I have it. Oh, interesting. The only problem with the Red Sea, it does look very good, but you haven't got 5 years of experience of people saying I've had it for years, it's never gone wrong, which you have with the Tunzi. So it might.
You want one?
I don't care. I'm always going to be open with stuff, but you and it might be the most reliable thing ever. It might be more reliable than Tunzi, but it might not be. You don't know. So that's the thing. I would still take a punt.
You may never be able to find out.
What if I was given one? I'd put it on my tank, and that's a big enough compliment that of how much I would trust it, because that's an auto top off is no joke. I've been offered an auto top off before that I said no to. It was a nice one, but I didn't want it because it's too big a risk thing. But the Red Sea one I would take.
Yeah.
Anyway. All right. Anyway, we're going to wrap it up there. Thank you very much for joining, and thank you for Woody's gamer tag for coming along. Nice to have a proper YouTuber in the house. Yeah. And we will be back next week with an unspecified as yet topic. Cheers, guys. See you. Bye.
See you later. Bye.